After filming and photographing my first wedding, I realized that hybrid shooting is more difficult than I thought when it comes to client work. I'm wondering if it might be better to master either photography or videography instead of being a subpar hybrid shooter. Since I love both mediums equally, I'm finding it hard to choose, so I decided to turn to YouTube to find out which one might be the more impactful and lucrative career path.
Photography is basically the Walmart version of video.
When it comes to doing either photography or videography as a profession versus a hobby, there's so much more to consider other than pure enjoyment. When I'm photographing squirrels and doing my squirrel cinematography, it's for my own pleasure, and the time and effort I put into it has nothing to do with profits. When you're trying to shoot professionally, there's so many practical things that you have to think of. One of the first considerations is editing time. How long will it actually take to get a finished product to your client? I do believe photography has the advantage here because I find it so much easier to remove blemishes or other objects in Photoshop than it is to remove an object in video editing software like DaVinci Resolve. Trying to track an object frame by frame isn't always so simple. Adjusting color in a photo seems a lot easier than color grading multiple video clips and trying to get everything to match just the way you want. Since I am a novice, this could be mostly attributed to user error. Another consideration is the affordability of storage. Even though my first wedding was a small home wedding, I still managed to get 5 gigabytes worth of edited JPEGs. And as far as video goes, I ended up with 32 gigabytes of 4K footage, although I was able to condense down all of that footage into about a gigabyte worth of highlight reels and ceremony footage. During the editing process at least, video definitely takes up more storage space than photos. And when it comes to storage, something I've never even thought about is something called bit rot, until Chelsea Northrup had mentioned it.
Both digital photos and video have something called bit rot, and that's when over time, the quality of the video and the photo will degrade. So I took video of my daughter and I went to review them 20 years later, and it was pixelated and terrible and almost impossible to view. Now, photos do also get bit rot, but we have something really special called printing. So we print all of our favorite photos and they stay in albums for hundreds of years. They're cheap, they're easy to store, and they're easy to share.
Something else I've taken into consideration when it comes to choosing between photography and videography is technical complexity. When it comes to getting paid for my work, I want to try to avoid any unforeseen disasters. The one advantage photography definitely has over video is exposure. If I want to keep my aperture wide open on a bright sunny day, I can always crank up my shutter speed without really having to suffer any consequences. But when it comes to video, I can't say the same. If I crank my shutter, I'll end up with some really jittery footage that might not be so pleasing to the bride and groom. The addition of audio definitely makes videography more complicated. I've been known not to plug in my microphone all the way and come home with no audio at all. According to Doug Boyer from Doug Boyer Films, videographers already have to know the fundamentals of photography, but photographers don't necessarily know everything that it takes to make a good film.
If I'm going to create a good video, I need to know how the composition, I need to know audio, I need to know lighting, I need to know, how to edit video, all that stuff, right? If I'm going to be a photographer, I need to know how to do most of that stuff, right? But not all of it. Where with a videographer, I have to know everything, right? And so photography just kind of falls within the realm of videography already. Again, I'm not saying that every videographer can be a photographer, right? But what I am saying is there's a lot of photographers, if they had to, they may or may not be able to put together a very good video when the time came. Again, take that as you will. I could be wrong.
Profitability is also something that's been on my mind, as much as I'd like to say it isn't. I've discovered that wedding photographers generally earn more than wedding videographers. According to Vu from NVU Films, the struggle is real.
And we're trying to make the best footage out of what we're given, and we're dealing with that. And on top of that, not getting paid as much as photographers, we're going to deal with them yelling, yes, yes, in our ears the whole entire day. Go home to the editing station. We're sitting there editing with our earphones on, with our monitoring speakers, and we're hearing, yes, yes, the entire time, trying to edit nice sunset footage with ambient sound, but the whole time, it's just, yes, yes, in our ears until our heads explode. and giving us a stroke at an early age.
On average, photographers can earn about $2,400 a wedding, whereas the videographers are bringing in about $1,700. One of the most important aspects in deciding whether to become a professional photographer or videographer is which one is better for compelling storytelling. According to Eric Floberg, the inclusion of sound is what makes filmmaking so much better for storytelling than photography.
Cinematography allows the pictures to move and allows me to recall my family, my city, my life by hearing every part of it and seeing it move.
I'm not entirely convinced that video is superior for impactful storytelling just because it has the addition of sound and motion. A photograph quietly draws you in and lets you take in all the details at your own pace. In trying to decide between the two mediums, one just might be more timeless than the other. Photography does seem to have an advantage when it comes to its timeless nature. With the changing trends in color science and frame rates, video seems to be able to look more easily dated than photographs. In deciding between a profession in photography and videography, I want to make sure I choose the one that's going to grow with me the most. According to Tony Northrup, videography might just be more mentally stimulating in the long run.
Photography's good. It's easy. It's easy. Like if you don't have the energy to make a video, if you're not willing to learn a skill, then yeah, photography should be for you.
You don't think photography is a skill?
It's a good stepping stone
What's
to
our
video.
channel about?
It's a good place to start. But at some point, you figure out the exposure triangle, storytelling. You're looking for some extra challenge. That's what video is to me. It is something that is infinitely more complex. Even just capturing audio adds so much depth to it.
According to Brian James, videography has been reinvigorating his passion for cameras.
Well, if I had my G9 with my 100-300 on, not only could I take great stills of that, but I could actually have a great video of that too. I can watch that in moving time. And I'm finding that I'm getting more of a kick from actually doing that sort of thing than I am from the stills. But don't get me wrong, I still love taking still photos. But now I'm realizing that there are two things I can be doing with the same shot, and both of which are going to give me different experiences, different thrills, different enjoyment levels. And I find that going out to take video, I am taking the camera out. I am inclined to go out and do that.
One potential problem I found in choosing between either becoming a photographer or videographer is the two professions don't always seem to get along very well at weddings.
Oh, photographers, God bless your unfocused hearts.
According to Phil Porto, the rivalry between photographers and videographers can border on middle school behavior.
One thing I hate is being in a wedding videographer's Facebook group and seeing the post about the dumb photographer who got in the shot for my ceremony. They ruined my ceremony shot. It would have been so epic if it wasn't for that stupid, dumb photographer. And then you got all these comments of all these videographers that are like, yeah, that person sucks. Like, they should not be professional. Like, they need to learn how to do this, how to do that. And it's just over and over, and it happens all the time. Okay, photographers, before you cast your judgment, okay, I'll be in the same kind of photography groups and I'll see, man, that stupid videographer got in my shot in the ceremony, or they ruined my portrait time, or this, that, and whatever. And it's just back and forth and encouraging one another, like, hey, yeah, videographer, that photographer's the worst. Hey, photographer, that videographer's the worst. And it's just petty.
Although Caitlin James, a wedding photographer, has found a way to work seamlessly with videographers.
You know, when I have a wedding day where we don't have a lot of time and we finish a first look and the videographer's like, all right, we're going to reenact that again. And I'm like, no, we don't have time. I have found myself, I just have to remind myself, like, how long is this actually going to take? Probably 2 to 3 minutes. And it goes back to the concept of, like, they need a broader picture. Like, I got the shot of her walking to him, but they need to, like, pan it without me in the background. Like, they need something so different. I have got to pick my battle here and just say, you know what? Yes, of course. Get what you need. I'm going to be empathetic. Get what you need. It's really not going to take away that much portrait time. So picking your battles comes back to showing empathy and finding a balance of, like, they need this. I'm going to let them have this because that's really important to them. And hopefully they'll return the favor down the line.
Maybe it's better that I stick with being a hybrid shooter. I could avoid so much drama and not have to worry about anyone getting in my way. And plus, I'm finding it really hard to decide between photography and videography. I love them both so much. The only thing I'll have to worry about with being a hybrid shooter is developing a split personality and dealing with internal strife. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing for more camera-related content from a newbie like me. God bless.